Welcome back to the deep dive. When we talk about digital marketing these days, it's almost automatic, isn't it? Your mind jumps straight to the flashy tools, the complex algorithms, all those automated platforms.
Yeah, there's definitely this feeling out there that if you just get the right tech stack, the best software, the newest thing, then bam, success.
Exactly. That having the perfect set of tools is the kind of ultimate key.
It is a really compelling idea. And, we hear so much about AI changing everything. It almost makes the human part feel, well, maybe less important, secondary even.
And that's precisely the idea we want to push back on today. What if having those tools is really just, the starting point?
Right.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into two really interesting sources that argue exactly that. They suggest that the human element, the skill, the actual expertise, how you use the tools, that's what really makes the difference.
Yeah, we're looking at why having a digital marketing stack isn't enough, the importance of skill and expertise, and also why your brand's social media presence matters more than you think.
Okay, so our mission here is basically to unpack what these sources are saying, show you why having all that tech, the CRM, the analytics, all of it is just the foundation.
Exactly. We want to show how it's really human ingenuity, human understanding that unlocks a brand's actual potential online.
Right.
We'll look at some pretty specific examples, maybe even some surprising ones.
Okay, so where do these sources start us off? How do they frame this?
Well, the first source jumps right in. It makes a really clear point. Yeah, a good digital marketing stack is, obviously critical. You need the tools.
Sure.
But it's how skilled people leverage those tools that actually drives growth and, real success. Think of it like having a super powerful car engine.
Okay.
But you still need a great mechanic, someone who knows how to tune it, how to get the absolute best performance out of it.
Right. That's a great analogy. It makes that distinction really clear. And the source gives a kind of classic, maybe painful example. Kodak.
Oh, yeah.
They were pioneers. They were right there at the start of digital photography. They had the early tools, the sort of stack for that era. But they just couldn't adapt, could they, to the huge shift to digital. Their digital marketing, or maybe the lack of it in the right places, it just fell flat.
And they ended up filing for bankruptcy. It's a pretty stark story.
It really makes you wonder how much of that failure was about the technology itself versus, the decisions being made by the people in charge.
That's a core question, isn't it? It's a powerful reminder. Even if you have the tech infrastructure, if you don't have the strategic foresight, the cultural read, the flexibility to see where things are going and use the tools properly, well, the tools just sit there.
They become inert, like you said.
Right. Kodak's issue, according to this source, wasn't really a lack of tech resources. It was a massive failure of strategic vision. They didn't leverage what they had for the new digital world, especially when it came to things like content and user experience online beyond just print photos.
And it's not always about these huge industry-shattering shifts either. Sometimes, as the source points out, it boils down to one really bad decision. Like that Pepsi ad with Kendall Jenner back in 2017.
Oh, I remember that. Oof. It caused an instant backlash, didn't it? They pulled it almost immediately.
Yeah. And that's just a textbook case, really, of a PR crisis that came from completely misreading the audience.
Totally. The source uses it to show that, look, PepsiCo definitely had a sophisticated digital marketing stack. All the tools were there.
Of course.
But what they lacked was that deep cultural understanding, that empathetic foresight about how their message would land with their audience. That led to the huge mistake. It wasn't a tech failure. It was a human intelligence failure, a big one.
So, looking at these examples, it just seems crystal clear. Having skilled, experienced people who get human behavior, who understand the market. That's absolutely essential.
Caramel.
The source really pushes this idea. Businesses need to invest in training and hiring people who've got that mix, the technical skills and the human understanding. That's how you make sure your digital marketing actually works.
Yeah.
That it drives real growth.
Yeah, it's about empowering the people using the software, not just buying more software.
Yeah.
And, this focus on the human side connects perfectly to our second source, which zooms right in on social media.
Okay.
Because social media is maybe one of the most human-centric parts of digital marketing, right? Yeah. It's where that real connection, that nuanced grasp of your audience truly makes or breaks things. It's kind of where the art and science of marketing really meet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Despite all the talk about algorithms controlling everything on social, our second source, why your brand's social media presence matters more than you think, really hammers home how vital it's become. It's way more than just, seeing updates from friends. For businesses, it's this incredibly powerful way to connect with people, their target audience, on a really personal, almost emotional level.
And what's really interesting is how this source highlights the human ability, the skill involved in actually fostering that connection and building a community online.
Right.
It's about creating content that's engaging, that's relevant. That's how brands build up a loyal following. And social media also gives you all this amazing raw data about what people like, how they behave.
Yeah, tons of data.
But it's not just data an algorithm spits out. It's data that human strategists need to look at creatively, pull insights from, and then figure out strategically how to use it to build even deeper relationships.
And this source gives a really great example of social media success driven by that kind of human ingenuity. Wayfair.
Wayfair. Yeah. The online home goods place.
Right. They've apparently really figured out how to use social media to boost their visibility and ultimately their sales. I mean, the numbers are pretty staggering. Over 3 million followers on Instagram, 1.6 million likes on Facebook.
Wow.
That's not just noise. That's a huge, engaged community they've built.
And Wayfair's strategy, as the source breaks it down, really shows that human element working overtime. Okay, yes, they post nice photos and videos of their products, high quality stuff.
Standard practice, you might think.
But they go way beyond just showing a couch, Their human content teams create things like DIY tutorials, home decor tips, design inspiration boards.
So it's useful stuff people actually want to see.
Exactly. It showcases the products, but in a way that's visually appealing and relatable. They position themselves almost as a lifestyle guide, not just a store. It's about inspiring people, not just hitting them with a sales pitch.
That's a really smart shift, isn't it? Moving from just selling furniture to actually providing value and tapping into people's aspirations for their homes. And they also partner up with influencers.
Yeah.
And micro-influencers, too.
Yeah, the source mentions that. Those partnerships lead to sponsored posts, sure, but also stories about real people using Wayfair stuff in their own homes. It feels more genuine.
Which must massively boost brand awareness, but also creates all that user-generated content that feels more organic.
Totally. And then that user-generated content, they can cleverly reuse it on their website, across their other social channels. It amplifies everything.
It becomes this whole ecosystem.
Right. An ecosystem built because someone understood basic human desires for inspiration, for connection, for seeing how things look in real life. And it's all planned and fine-tuned by human insight and creativity.
So bottom line from this source, whether you want to build a loyal customer base, get genuinely useful audience insights, or just boost your visibility and sales, your brand's social media presence matters a lot. Maybe more than you think.
Absolutely. And it's the strategic application of human skill, the empathy, the creativity, the ability to analyze what's working that really moves the needle.
It's knowing how to tell your story effectively, how to get people genuinely engaged, how to actually build that community.
Not just having access to the platforms themselves.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Today, we've really seen through this deep dive that, a strong digital marketing stack is, essential groundwork. But it's truly the skill, the insight, the expertise of the people using those tools that makes the real difference.
The difference between real success and, some pretty big mistakes.
Right, whether it's dodging a major brand crisis like that Pepsi ad, or skillfully building a massive engaged community like Wayfair has done on social media.
It always comes back to the strategic application of human knowledge and really understanding the audience.
It's not just about the fancy tools you have. It's about how effectively, how thoughtfully you actually use them.
So thinking about what this means for you listening, if you're involved in building a team, it really underscores how important it is to invest in training and to hire people who have more than just the technical ability.
Yeah, you need that human intelligence too, the creativity, the empathy, that cultural awareness piece.
It's about putting people power first, letting that drive the technology, not, the other way around.
And if you're navigating all this for your own brand or maybe your own project, it's just a powerful reminder, isn't it? To think beyond just buying the next piece of software.
Really?
Instead, maybe focus that energy on really getting to know your audience, thinking about what they need, and trying to create meaningful, actual human interactions.
Yeah.
Because even as the world gets more automated,
that genuine human connection is still king.
Yeah.
And this whole discussion kind of raises a bigger question for all of us, doesn't it? In this world that's automating more and more, Where else might we be putting maybe too much faith in the sophisticated tools and the data streams and not focusing enough on cultivating those uniquely human skills, the insights, the critical thinking, the creativity needed to actually use those tools for something meaningful?
That's a great question. What other parts of life or work could really benefit if we shifted our focus a bit?
Yeah.
Moved from just the what, the tools, the tech.
The how, the human how. Something to think about.